welcome back. I think it's time for a new Jag update today. It's been a long time since the last one, about 2 years. So I first think we should just talk about what happened in that last video and what's happened since. So in that last video I was talking a lot about the installation of a catch can, because these cars do have an issue where the throttle bodies can get very dirty. So you install a catch can, that keeps all the crud away from the throttle body, and well, that's the theory anyway. Now that catch can has been in for 2 years, I can kind of give you an update on that. So last summer I almost put an update on YouTube to say that actually a catch can doesn't appear to be working. But now that we're 2 years on, I can see that that was like my error. So basically, I think the mistake I've made is that I have put on a catch can that is a little bit too small for this engine. And that essentially means that you've basically got to empty the thing all the time. Otherwise, it gets full up, and then you're just back to square one again when all that crud's going through and dirtying up the throttle body again. But armed with that knowledge, since last summer I've been emptying out the catch can after pretty much every sort of journey of any reasonable mileage, and it's now to the point where I had all the intake hoses and stuff off when I did the annual service on this a few weeks ago, and it's completely bone dry in there. So the catch can is definitely doing its job. It's keeping that throttle body clean. And that means that it's keeping the revs where they're supposed to be. They don't get hung up anymore. So yes, it does work, but if you're going to do it, just make sure you get one of a reasonable size. Otherwise, you'll be emptying it every 5 minutes like I have to. But the other thing, I've only done 4,000 miles in this car since last time you heard from it. So that's 4,000 miles in 2 years. There is a reason for that as well. So I've actually got another car now, which I might do a video on. It's not that interesting of a car, it's just a daily driver, but I might do a video on it later this summer. But this is very much a third vehicle now, behind my daily and the 911, which is just slotted in behind it, and then there's this. But to give you a bit more of an update on this car, one of the highlights for me in recent memory, it was the NEC. This car was on display at the NEC for the Classic Motor Show back in November 2024. I mean, I've been going to the NEC since I was a kid, mainly for the normal sort of motor show that was there. It used to be a big thing back in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, I think, where all the manufacturers would bring their latest products and stuff like that, and it was just great. As a kid, you get to go there, see all the new cars, all the merch and stuff like that, all the freebies. It was great. And then as I've got older and I've bought a lot of those old cars that I was staring at the NEC back when they were new. I've now got a couple of 90s cars, and I used to go there every year to the Classic Motor Show. So to be invited to display this car at the NEC as part of that NEC Classic show was just amazing. Really enjoyed that whole weekend. Thanks to those that came and said hi. I wasn't there actually all 3 days. I was only there obviously for the setup, and I was there on the Sunday. But when I was by the car, just so many people wanted to stop and chat, and it just goes to show there's just so much love for these cars, and it means so much, because I just sometimes I feel like a custodian of this car. You feel a real responsibility to keep it nice, keep on top of it, keep it maintained, keep it running, for the future. Really, there is a following for these, a small following, but a small but loyal following, I would say. And that is because it's one of those cars, if you know, you know, kind of thing. So if you were one of those people that stopped by, and said hi and shared a few stories and backwards and forwards, then thank you. But I'd like to say, you know, special thanks to James of Chester Cars and Coffee for the invite out. I was filling in essentially for James's own XJR6 that up until recently was immobilised and kind of stuck immobilised. So then they needed a stand-in XJR, and that's where I came in to be that substitute. But yeah, it was fantastic. So yeah, shout out to James and Chester Cars and Coffee. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. It was a proper highlight of 2024 for me. But apart from that, like mechanically, this car just continues to be about as close to flawless as you can possibly get. It hasn't needed any major work or anything like that. The one thing that has needed a bit of attention is the heater system, of all things. So, and I kind of knew this was coming because I've had a few of these cars in the past, but essentially the heater system works on, there's like a separate coolant circuit coming off the main circuit from the engine, and when you turn the heater on in the car, there's like a zone valve that operates, and there's a pump that draws the hot coolant into that circuit so that you get warm air through your vents. What happens on these, to all these eventually, is that the heater pump, the brushes in the motor for the heater pump just wear out. Happens to all of them, it's completely normal. That's what happens to all motors that operate on those brushes. And it finally happened on this. So I do have a lot of spares, and I was kind of mucking around with some of my spares, but I was having not really much luck. I think all the spare ones I had were just on their last legs as well. So what I ended up doing in the end was, again, because this is such a simple car, you don't have to put the 30-year-old Jaguar one in if you don't want. You can just get pretty much any water pump, any sort of automotive water pump out there. So I went and got a Davies Craig brushless pump and installed that. I think it was around £90 or something like that off eBay. I'll put a link in the description. And while I was there as well, the company that did the big brake kit for this car actually have now started doing stainless steel heater pipes for these. Now there's one particular heater pipe that sits on the left-hand chassis leg, and they just get really corroded over time. And obviously I knew this, and back when I first got this car, I took that heater pipe off, tried to kill all the rust and respray it, but it's just that was like 5 years ago or something like that, so that rust has started to come back through again. So what I've done now is I've grabbed hold of one of those stainless steel pipes and fitted that, and again it's just another little tiny little upgrade, some more kind of future proofing for this car really. So that's all done now. A beautiful looking pipe, it's a shame you can't really see it. The other thing as well, again heater system related, this car, I've kind of accepted the fact that I'm never going to get round to recommissioning the air conditioning on this car. The aircon was something that it wasn't working when I picked this car up. Yeah, the aircon, it wasn't working when I picked this car up, so I basically ripped it all out, and I had purchased a new aircon pump and condenser and dryer receiver thing and all that stuff, and I never got around to fitting it and recommissioning the aircon. And in actual fact, a few years ago I was a bit desperate for money, and I sold off the new old stock compressor that I had for this, and a few other bits, and I've just accepted the fact that I don't think I'm ever going to get around to doing it. And to be honest with you, I don't miss it. I don't miss the aircon. I do like, you know, blasting down B roads in this car, you know, windows down and all the rest of it in the summer when it's really hot. I really enjoy that. It adds to the experience and the drama of driving this car. So where I'm going with this is, a few years ago managed to pick up a new old stock heater control unit for this car, and the reason why I could get new old stock still, 30 years later for this car, was that there were some of these cars, believe it or not, that were sold without air conditioning. So there's a heater panel that exists without the AC button and the AC functions. So I've managed to get one of those, and I've fitted that. And yeah, anytime you can get new old stock parts for a 30-year-old car is pretty good. So I've installed that as well. So that brings me on to what next for this car. Well, the truth is I don't actually know anymore. I mean, last time... Sorry, it's so much fun to drive at the moment. I've just, I've just finished the annual service on this. It's ready to use for the rest of the season now. I don't have to do anything else on the car. It doesn't want for anything, it doesn't need anything. I mean, I previously spoke about doing some drag racing events with it, and maybe even some drifting, but I think, these are getting quite rare now. With every year that passes, there's more and more of these that are off the road than on the road. And you just think, the way things are going at the moment, there's virtually no appetite for cars like this with big engines anymore. So the longer that kind of continues, the less and less they're going to be of these cars. I think it's just more and more important to try and keep these cars as Jaguar intended. So I'm going to hold off doing any more modifications, and I'm going to keep it. I'm just going to keep on top of it, run it, maintain it, look after it as best I can for a while, until this kind of current situation just settles down. Because honestly, since the tail end of COVID, any car with a big engine has just like nosedived in the UK, to the point where, I mean, some of these cars are completely worthless, and when they're, when cars get to that point, they fall into the hands of people that can just kind of run them for a bit and then throw them away, which is fine if that's what they want to do, but it does mean that, we're going to see a lot of cars like this just disappear off the roads. As for me in this car, I mean, I've only got one event booked this year, and that's Supercharged Saturday, which is 31st of May. It's taking place at Silverstone this year. So if you're able to, and you're in the UK, come along to Silverstone, 31st of May. It's a really good event. It's Supercharged Saturday. It's not just an event for these, it's an event for all Jags, but especially the supercharged ones, obviously. I'm pretty sure anyway, it's always the biggest gathering of these particular cars anywhere in the country every year, so it'd be good to catch up with everyone. Like I say, it's quite a small community, so a small but dedicated community, so it's good to sort of meet up in one place at least once a year and just catch up with everyone's cars and see how everyone's doing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But apart from that, like I say, it's just about running and maintaining it now. And the beautiful thing is, with this car, it doesn't really need anything. So I mean, it's cheap to insure, cheap to tax, passes MOT with flying colours every year. So, I mean, if it sits there and I don't really use it that much, it costs virtually nothing to run and to keep this thing. So, especially when values are so low at the moment, it's a really good time to just hold and just enjoy it. Just sort of relax for a bit, enjoy the car, get out, drive it every few weeks, do the odd event here and there, and like I say, just enjoy the ownership experience, because it is such a satisfying car to own. And sometimes it's nice to just stop and appreciate what you have, and that's kind of where I'm at with this car now. It's just such a cool thing, and again, that was reinforced by the show at the NEC. There was just so much love for it, really. just yet, everyone was saying basically, oh wow, you don't see these anymore. And it's true, it's true. I haven't seen one out in the wild for years now. You just don't see that, apart from at car shows, and even then it's rare. But apart from at car shows, you just don't see them. Oof. And that's such a shame, because it's just an absolute riot. I can't tell you how enjoyable this thing is, to just shove down a B road like this. And the thing is, like, I know I've got the 911 now, and you might think, well, surely a 911 is much more fun on a B road. Well, yes and no, because with the 911, even though it's got the comfort suspension, you honestly, roads around here, it's just an absolute nightmare. If I took the 911 down the wrong road, I mean, it would just break because of the state of the roads around here. But this, but this is just incredible. And because it's a big Jag, doesn't matter what the state of the roads are, it just takes it all in its stride. Like it was built for B-road blasts. Probably not much of an update. I've done some heater stuff to it, and that's it. Apart from that, I mean, a lot of the stuff with the car is the same as what it was in the last video. So the paintwork is still very rough, and I will have to deal with that at some point. But it's like I'm not in a rush for any of that stuff. It's purely cosmetic. That will essentially have to wait for me to find somebody that I trust to respray this car. But yeah, apart from that, I'm just going to hold on to this car and take it to at least one show every year. But yeah, plenty more videos coming up, so do stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe if you haven't already for more content on this and the 911 and possibly my daily driver. But yeah, for now, thank you very much. See you again for the next one.